for being alive, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I would like to say Happy New Year. It's been such a long time since when we spoke together. And I'm actually so happy to be speaking to all of you because it's been such a tough time for me. I had some problems with my health as we ended the year, and I found myself admitted in the hospital, and I've been going through a very hard time trying to heal physically as well as spiritually. But I would like to say that outside of that, everything else is good, because when we are alive, we know that there is nothing that we cannot do. We are here for a reason. And remember that we are spiritual beings. Just having a physical body, that the physical body is like a channel, or it's like a pipe where we thrive. And so when you think about it, you don't even get scared of death, or you don't even feel like death is a threat to you, because at the end of the day, you have a purpose to fulfill in this life and even afterwards. Because I really believe that life doesn't start when you're born, and life doesn't end when you die. There's so much more to life than that. And we have to do everything in our power to discover what life is about. Like, what's our purpose on earth? What's our purpose for having this life? Because we have, like, I would like to say that time was a very big time of reflection for me, and it really told to me, and it opened my eyes. Like, I got the clarity about life, and I'm like, yo, this is wonderful. You get that. You get to experience the transformation, to understand, to get clarity of things, and then to get this sense of satisfaction to know that really you are close, so close to the universe this much, because you have a role to play in contributing to what this world needs. So I'm just so happy to be speaking to all of you, and to say I'm happy for your life, and I am happy that most of you are doing what must be done to contribute to the well-being of Mother Earth. And from the African continent, we say, may this continue. May we all wake up to the truth of who we are and continue to revive our land, because I believe we are the most downtrodden people that need lifting, but the only people who lift us is ourselves. So definitely don't remember that I've been writing a book as well, and this book is about to be online for all of you and for all of us. It's titled The Killing of the Queen, tackling the systemic oppression of women from the ancient of days to today, and what women have endured, and how the system has done it so well to destroy, to make us forget about our greatness, and to also make us blind to the truth of who we've been. In this book, I talk about the matriarchal Africa, how matriarchal we were, and how a lot of the globalization has played a role in destroying our heritage, destroying our truth, and making us lost to our truth, and ultimately conquering us. Because once they conquered our background, they conquered our spiritual backbone, then we were finished. So my book is going to be out soon, and I'm so excited to release it. I'm so excited to tell you that this has been like a baby for me. It's been like a pregnancy. Like, I just feel like, oh, I'm going into labor soon. So when this book comes out, remember that I will be posting links to getting this book, and I will also be engaging in different discussions to discuss the topics of the book in depth, because I believe that even when we write, we don't properly explain, we don't properly give that understanding that people need. We call it understanding. And a lot of us read for the sake of it. Yes, we pick some knowledge, but sometimes we need to get the depth of the written form. So I am happy and thrilled to say it's going to be my first book, a first time author, and never mind that, I did my best. And what's more interesting is the topic that we'll be delving into, because the book is not just only to read about our history, but also a call to action to women worldwide about what we need to do as women to take back, to restore, to overtake, and to correct. We have to correct the narratives that have been said to us, that's been told to us. We have to dismantle the falsehoods, and we have to raise ourselves from the shackles of mental slavery. And also, we have got to take back whatever has been stolen from us. We have to give back to Mother Earth, and we have to heal our people, our land, our children, and we have to restore ourselves fully. So let's go to what I want to speak about today. A lot is going on in the world, and definitely for us, Africa, it doesn't really come to us like it's too much or it's a lot that's been going on. Most of the things that happen every day on the African continent and abroad have been happening. And a lot of the things is like a repetition or just a continuation of what's been happening to the world. And some of the things, like, we look at them and we'll be like, what did you expect? Who didn't see this coming? Now, everyone is talking about the war in the Congo. I am glad I spoke about this a few years ago, and I think 2022, I even did a song about the Congo. And I think at that time no one could see what I was talking about, because sometimes we are ahead of things. But I was having an experience. We have been working in very many refugee settlements and camps, and I've met several people from different backgrounds, different nations, and I've interacted with the refugee communities and all of the people that are affected. And I found out by myself that the refugee population from Congo is usually higher. So I'll give an example, like in Achivale refugee settlement, where I've done most of my community engagement. The refugee population is usually higher with the people from the Democratic Republic of Congo than the other nations. And definitely this gives you an explanation of the gravity of the problem and why people should pay attention. So I did a song, and the song was saying silent cries. I called it silent cries. I remember I contacted John, the one who gave the song lyrics, and I told him, this is what I want to sing about. And I even sent him videos to explain, like, I sent him some documentaries. I said, you need to grasp this message and then put it into writing. So we did this song, and it's called Silent Cries. And this is how it goes. You'll go and check. You can order for it, but I'll just give you the summary. The story of King Leopold is being replayed. They murder innocent people for a price of gold. Don't you know that it is the same as yesterday? The powers that be. So the song goes on that line, but the chorus says silent cries, because these are people whose voices have been stifled. They're not heard. They're ignored. It is like a deliberate ignorance where people in power, global corporations, governments, and leaders are complicit in the crime of making the Congo situation the way it is. And make no mistake, everything about the Congo is about minerals. So I have seen a lot of ignorance on the internet and social media. And definitely there's so many people who have a side to defend, or they have something to protect, or they feel like they're being attacked. But at the end of the day, if we remove the minerals from the DRC tomorrow, this war would end. Make no mistake. If we remove minerals from the DRC, this war will end yesterday. So It doesn't really matter what you say. It doesn't matter what kind of arguments you make. But the truth of the matter is, the Congo is the richest country in the world, and everyone who has stepped foot in the Congo is looking for the mineral. Now, I need us to remember that the Congo is the biggest producer of gold, coltan, and tin. And we know that the automobile industry and even the fourth industrial revolution that they've been speaking about all the time cannot thrive without coltan. So most of these minerals that are really going to be very, very, very useful and the biggest resource for the flourishing of the fourth industrial revolution are from the Congo. So it makes no sense for anyone to be making any other arguments. Like, I have seen arguments from people I always respected, like Pan-Africanists, people who are well-traveled and people who are well-informed, trying to convince the African population that this war is about tribal. They're saying it's a tribal thing. No one should lie to you, because the Democratic Republic of Congo has about 400 tribes. 400 tribes. And most of these people who are trading the tribal sentiments are only mentioning one or two. And they're saying, this war is about Banyamulenge, this war is about the FDLR. It doesn't make sense to anyone. Doesn't make sense at all. On record, the Congolese government has those specific tribes represented in the government. They have ministers, they have members of parliament, they have people in the army, they have people in the police who belong to this tribe that some of these big leaders are trying to trade. They are trying to use them as scapegoats to keep their feet in the Congo. Now, the other thing I needed the African people to know is everyone needs to bash the tribal reasons for people to keep in the Congo. The people of Congo have very many tribes. And let me say, when I go to the first-hand experience with the refugees from the Congo, I found out that there is even more Congolese refugees than the Banyamulenge refugees. There's definitely many Banyamulenge refugees that left the Congo because of the war. But the Congolese people, real Congolese people, or the native Congolese people who are refugees and have left Congo are much more. So this definitely, it really defeats those settlements that are trying to lean on the tribal leanings. So I would like the people of Africa to not lose sight of the history, because we know that even for the scramble and partition of Africa, when Western nations set out foot to go to Africa to scramble and to colonize us, a lot of it was about minerals. It was about slave labor. It was about conquering. But everything was about power and the material gain that came with it. The material gain that came with it. So countries that really had so much to give in terms of minerals got such a hard time. That's why we have more than 10 million people being killed in the Congo during the time of King Leopold. I think even the number goes to 30 million. And it's still not classified as one of the worst atrocities in the world, because they try to cover it up. Just in the same way, they are trying to cover up the fact that the Congo, especially Eastern Congo, is very rich in minerals, and every country that is there is trying to get a piece of that. And now they are going to trade in your faces, in your eyes, and say, these people have been marginalizing the Banyamulenge, and now because they've been marginalizing the Banyamulenge are rising up to killing and taking over. Wait, 1996, we had Rwanda and Uganda go into the Congo and fight a war that was aimed at removing President Kabila from power. That war would end up killing around 6 million Congolese people. These 6 million people who died included all of the tribes and even more of the Banyamulenge that they are claiming to protect now. So that time when they were trying to remove Kabila, the point of Banyamulenge and the point of FDLR wasn't anything. It was nothing. That time we want to remove the other president. And now after they removed that president, they installed another one, and they still, things never get any better. And the different factions of very many rebel groups, they keep coming up. And then they're talking about the mercenaries and all of the people who are in the Congo from different nations. They're different, so many of them. And this is the proof that tells you that really and truly the situation of the Congo is about the minerals. It's not about anything. So it is absurd that the Africans get sold into the lies and falsehoods of these people in power who don't really care about people's lives. They don't care about human lives. So the question I was asking yesterday, I was saying, if you really cared about human lives, we wouldn't have these Congolese people struggling and suffering in the refugee camps and settlements in Uganda and Rwanda. We have so many of them, and sometimes you see them carrying their luggage. These are people that have zero connection with power. They have no one to speak for them. They have no one to help them. And this really tells you that these people are never going to get, by any chance, they're never going to get any help from these people in power, whose main concern and whose main goal is to cling to power, whose main goal is to win and have power into those nations. Most of these nations have made nice roads into the Congo because they want to use the roads to travel, to get the minerals and to sell to Western nations. And even though the Western nations may be silent on this, they're definitely silent on it because we see the UN Security Council, they've been doing nothing about it. Yes, people will complain, people will put in their thoughts, and people will express themselves, and people will cry, and the news and the media will showcase all of these atrocities going on. The UN Security Council will give nothing. And normally, it is that one nation on the UN Security Council who will not allow things to move ahead, like the United States of America. So all these things are here to explain to the common man that really and truly, the real struggle that we had in the days of Patrice Lumumba, when he was fighting colonialism and fighting to get the independence, are the same problems that are still ongoing even now in sophisticated ways, because now we have these people called proxies. For example, you may have Uganda and Rwanda working on behalf of a certain silent big power, because I know that even if Uganda or Rwanda would get the minerals from the Congo, they may not have so much to do with it unless they have to sell. They have to sell whatever they've got for big money to the Western nations. And what's really troubling is that sometimes these nations don't even sell for the money that is worth the price of these goods, because most of these governments and most of these leaders are trying to cling to power by all means. So they will even accept the most unfair dealings with these Western nations. So anyone could ask, you can say all you want to say, or you can make your analysis, but at the end of the day, what does the common person do? The first thing is you need to equip yourself with the truth, because a lot of us are suffering, or a lot of us are misled because of a lot of falsehoods that's been traded in our communities. And a lot of the people, I see the investment, where you put your investment, invest in reading a book, invest in doing a research, even invest in traveling. Travel and meet the people that you've been reading about on the internet. Speak to them. Go to their communities. Give back. Give some kind of philanthropic effort to those people. Get the stories firsthand. For the record, it is only Africans who like to rely on foreign storytellers Like you have to really wait for some white man to write a book about the Congo, and then you be here talking. I read a book about some man in the in the United States of America, who wrote about the Congo. You were just a neighbor to the Congo. You could just go to the Congo and tell that story yourself. So we are trying to tell our stories from the African perspective, factoring in the African experience, and definitely being sure to employ the principles of math, truth, empathy, and justice to make sure that we are doing good to our people. So definitely consider subscribing to this channel or where I am, and I'll definitely be unveiling another channel where we'll be sharing a lot of the stories concerning books, films, and stories and art as told from the African people. And then also remember that the book that I wrote that is coming so soon is going to give us solutions to what should be done for Africa. For example, I'm going to say that as all of this happens, as I see people talking and talking and talking and talking and saying Congo, Rwanda, Uganda, United States, France, and all of that, I'm just reminded that when Africa was a matriarchal society, we had less of this kind of discord. We had less of this kind of confusion, bloodshed, and tears. We did not have mothers having their children on the back, carrying staff on the head, and carrying a mattress in the hand, going to sleep under a tree just because there's an insurgency in their land. We need mothers to take full participation into the African situation. We need the mothers to take posts and restore themselves to the African mothers of the times of Queen Ya Asantewa, who stood by herself and called upon the land people and said, if the men will not do it, we the women will do it. And indeed, she defended the golden stool. And this is what needs to be done. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe, and we shall meet again. Thank you so much. Okay. Hey, Dead and Vlogs, I see you. Thanks for tuning in. Okay.